Welcome, everyone. I hope you are having a wonderful Wednesday. So, I want to start us off with just a story. And not too long ago, I was having dinner with a dear friend of mine, and they were talking about a specific situation, a coworker of theirs that was just constantly negative. You know what I'm talking about? You know that person? And they were talking about this person and how, just everything was a struggle, that bad things were just happening at them left and right and left and right. But this always seemed to be the trend. And anytime that they came to work, they were just hating life. They looked miserable. And they honestly never had anything positive to say. Like they were one of those people that if you handed them $100 bill, they would have been like, well, why isn't it 200? You know who those people are, right? We've come in contact with them. And one thing that I do notice about these types of individuals, and my friend was talking about this one in particular, is that they attract negativity. So things were happening to them. Their health was not the best. They were experiencing one thing after another, but they were attracting it. Do you know what I'm talking about? And, we kind of think about these things and we're like, well, maybe they're just a creation of all the things that have happened to them. But we also know those individuals that have had extremely hard things happen to them. However, they're very successful, and they're not negative people, and they're happy people, and they're thriving people. And so we're kind of like, okay, well, what's the difference? Is it personality type? Is it just, hey, life? What is it? But I'm here to tell you, we have the answer. And the answer can be found in breaking the habit of being yourself, how to lose your mind and create a new one. And guys, I am here to tell you, as I am reading this, I'm like, oh my gosh, that makes so much sense. This is it. So to put it into layman's terms, because we're going to get pretty scientific here in a second. And y'all know I'm an English teacher, so I'm going to have to break some things down in my language here. But to put it plain and simple, we are what we think. We are what we think. We attract our thoughts. We attract what we're thinking. And when I look at Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself by Dr. Joe Dispenza, in the first few chapters, he breaks down this reasoning and he breaks down the science and how our reality is only created by our thoughts. So I want to start off, like I said, I am an English teacher by nature, an instructional coach. I am not the most scientific person in the entire world. However, I will say that this book is written in a way that I can understand it. I can break it down. So if I can understand it, you can too. And I'm going to tell you, it's not a hard read. It's a very interesting read. But I wanted to share this with you today because in the midst of an educational crisis, let's face it, there are some hard things going on in our day to day. We can overcome this. We can overcome it. We can make a positive difference in this world. And it starts with our mind. So I am going to directly read a few things for you. And if this resonates as you're watching this video, I'm going to ask that you put it in the chat. Give me like a hell yes or a hell no maybe. But I want to know how it resonates with you. So we are going to start off, first of all, with, let me go to my first tab. I'm so sorry. With Albert Einstein. So Albert Einstein, we're familiar with E equals MC squared. But in E equals MC squared, it was demonstrating that energy and matter are so fundamentally related that they are one and the same. So you know how we talk about mind over matter? It's not mind over matter. It's mind and matter. They go hand in hand because our mind is energy. Energy and matter go hand in hand. Essentially, his work showed that matter and energy are completely interchangeable. Completely interchangeable. So the book starts by describing the old ideas of atoms. So I'm going to show you a picture. I'm going to show you. This is how we were taught in science class. This is what an atom looked like. It was very physical. It was pretty tangible. However, when we get into the quantum atom, when we start really looking at what an atom is, atoms are mostly space. Atoms are energy. So let me tell you what that means. When we talk about atoms or energy, things are not created until our energy puts them out there. I'm going to say that again. Things are not created until energy puts it out there. Our energy, things that we're thinking, things that we are believing, things that we are feeling and sensing. And so we are more energy. If you look here, more energy than particles. They actually say this is the quantum atom because it's all energy. It's not something tangible in that sense. But it does say electrons as particles behaved in unpredictable, unusual ways. When they interacted with the nucleus of the atom and moved towards its center, they gained and lost energy, appeared and disappeared, and seemed to show up all over the place without regard to the boundaries of space and time. This indicates that we have the opportunity to control the boundaries of space and time. So, subatomic world possesses not just physical qualities, but energetic qualities. I'm going to say that again. Physical and energetic qualities. So you might be like, Alyssa, you have just been rambling. What in the world does this mean? Again, I am going to kind of just emphasize in very simple terms, our mind controls our reality. Our mind controls our reality. And we have the potential to alter that reality with our thoughts. So let's make it make sense without getting too scientific. I just want to state this quote, and then I'm just going to kind of make it make sense in my own world in education. If you can imagine a future event in your life based on any one of your personal desires, that reality already exists as a possibility in the quantum world, waiting to be observed by you. Energy responds to your mindful attention and becomes matter. Energy responds to your mindful attention and becomes matter. So if you have attended any of my health and wellness summits that I've been a part of with other organizations, one of the things that I talk about quite often is the idea of future gratitude, where we're giving thanks for things that we desire in the future. So, I am always, whether you pray, you meditate, you talk to yourself, whatever it is, what are you giving thanks for in the future? So myself, I am a praying woman, and I pray and I thank God for the opportunities that are coming before me. I thank God for the doors that are opening. I'm thanking God for the health of my family. At first, I always kept it really generic, but now more and more, I'm learning to be more specific. So have all these opportunities just fallen at my feet? No, but I'm giving thanks for future opportunities. But now, because I know this about the quantum field, that my mind, that already all those possibilities exist, they already exist. I just have to bring them to the forefront of my mind to make them happen. So one of the examples that is provided in the book at the very, very beginning, I'm only on chapter 6. So I'm only going to talk about the first 4 chapters here in today's show. He talks about how he always talked to his kids about setting intentions, that, you always want to visualize your desires, your goals. And I'm not talking about just list them and, I want to be this when I grow up. No. Take the time to visualize it, to smell it, to feel it. Feel the people around you. What is it that you're hearing? What is it that you're saying? Embrace all of it and do this often. Put that intention out there. Put that future gratitude out there and be specific. And he says how, he's always taught his kids to do this. And his daughter came up to him and was like, hey, this summer I want to do an internship in France. She was in college, and he was like, put out those intentions, put them out. And so she did the work. She started putting out those intentions. And eventually she was offered an internship, and she would have to pay some money. And he was like, and she was super excited. She goes, Dad, it's happening. I'm going to France. He was like, hold on. That's not what you said you wanted, though. You wanted a full paid trip to France. Like, it would be easy for you to get there. And she was like, you're right. And so she went back and she started visualizing a free trip to France, everything paid. It would be so easy to get there. And she ended up being connected with someone who was going to France to teach for the summer and offered her a job as well. So not only was she going to be paid to go to France, but everything else was paid for her. Now, I'm not saying that we can sit here and go, I'm going to go to Greece right now. I'm going to go to Greece next week. I'm going to visualize it. It's going to happen. No, you have to take those moments to start thinking about the desire that you want, because remember, it is a possibility in the quantum field. It is a possibility. It is up to us to bring it to life. So let me tell you some of my thinking behind this. When we set those intentions, when we start visualizing it and feeling it and embracing it, we start acting like we're there, which makes us more intentional with our day-to-day moves. What if we did that in education? What if we did that as professionals? Now, I'm going to bring up something else that he discusses in the book, and it is about our emotions that are attached to certain experiences that we have had. Many of us have experienced trauma in various ways, whether as educators or in other instances. We have students that have experienced trauma. And I know when you think of as an educator, you're probably making hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of decisions a day. I think the research was you're having to answer 500 questions every day. I think what it was as a teacher. And so you think of decision fatigue. And after a while, it wears on you, and you start, getting those Monday blues, and you start feeling this certain way, or maybe something bad happened at work and you just now automatically have a negative feeling about this person, or you have a negative feeling about the instance. So in the book, Dr. Joe Dispenza talks about how when we attach an emotion with an event, we can, if that event comes up again or that person comes to us again, our emotions create that experience, or our mind creates that experience all over again for us. And we start to feel the exact same way we did in the real instance. And that does something to you. If I had a negative experience with one person one time, and I see them again, and now every time I see them, I get this knot in my stomach and I want to puke, or I get angry and I just want to punch someone, but they didn't do anything in that instance. It's my mind attaching that emotion to that event or that person. And that's not healthy. We were not made to be okay with long-term flight or fight feelings. Oftentimes when we experience something not even traumatic, just hard or negative, when our emotions stay in that state, we are creating habits. We are creating harmful thoughts. We are prolonging negativity. And so something that we need to learn how to do is, again, manifest, to be more intentional with our thoughts so that we are not experiencing that prolonged negative feeling. Because here's what happens when we live in negativity. We attract more negativity. Later down in the book, later on, Dr. Joe Dispenza starts providing us with strategies to rewire our brain. Because right now, those emotions have become hardwired in our system, which is creating more and more negativity. If we, as educators, go into our job feeling negative every single day, guess what's going to happen? We're going to become more negative, and more negative things are going to happen to us in the education field. More negative things are going to happen to us as educators. So we have to move past that. Now, next week when I come back on here, I'm going to go through certain strategies that he talks and discusses with us on how to unwire our hardwired brain. But here's what I wanted to come on tonight. I wanted to come on tonight just to, one, introduce a little bit of the science. I might have butchered it. I probably did. In my head, that's how I'm interpreting it. But here's the big lesson. We attract what we think. And you might be someone who's just like, well, Alyssa, I'm a natural pessimist. Well, I'm here to tell you, then you're going to have some natural pessimistic things happen to you. And I'm not talking about false positivity. I'm not talking about false hopes. There's a true method in this, but I do want you to take a moment every day, before you go into work, before you even step out of bed. I want you to feel that future amazingness that you want. Right now, and I'm here to say it, I'm going to be on a stage in Australia. That's my goal. That is my goal. I'm going to go to one of the largest education conferences there is out there, and I'm going to be a keynote speaker. I'm putting it out there, but I can't just say it. So what I've been doing every day before I wake up or before I get out of bed, and every day before I go to bed or go to sleep, I picture it. I picture what those lights are going to feel like on my face. I picture being on that stage. I picture a sea of educators laughing and engaging in conversations. I can hear it. I can hear the applause. I can hear the conversations behind the stage. Like, I am putting it out there because I know it's a possibility. There is a possibility of Alyssa Crabtree 5 years from now on that giant stage in Australia. It is up to me to make it a reality. And I need to take that energy that I know is there, and make it matter. Make it physical, make it tangible. And it can happen. And it can happen for all of you. So we need to start doing this as a practice. Giving future gratitude, envisioning the profession that we want, the classrooms that we want, the interactions that we want, the learning experiences that we want as educators, the education system that we want. And we start making it a reality. But we have to start first with our mind and rewiring our hardwired brain. Now, I know I rambled a lot tonight. I am going to come back on here next week and discuss, discuss the strategies that I am learning to make this possible and not be superficial. So I hope you are tuning in. If you have not already purchased this book, purchase this book. I want you to read it with me. If you can't read it with me, I want you to stay tuned, and I'm going to give you the clip notes of what I am learning. But the big thing is, how can we apply this to education, even with our students and with our colleagues? Because this is one thing that I told my girlfriend the other day when we were having dinner, when we met. I was like, listen, you got that friend that's negative. Number one, stop hanging out with them, because their negativity is going to become your negativity. Number two, all that stuff that's happening to them, they're creating it because of their negative emotions on day in and day out. So stop hanging around negative people, stop being negative, and let's create the future that we want. Have a wonderful evening, my friends. Thank you for sticking with me. I appreciate it. Like I said, I know I rambled, but I am ready to share this knowledge with you. We are going to change the world and make it a better place. So until next time, have a wonderful day. Love you bunches, and adios.